Hi everyone, how are you doing? I'm very glad to be back and I'm very glad to have you guys back. This week has been amazing and it just started. So tell me, how was your week? How was last week? I hope you had a wonderful weekend and you're all set to start an amazing week. Thank you for being in my third live cast, and I'm really excited to see how we're getting more people. The number of visitors and viewers is increasing, and we're getting pretty good feedback. So thank you for being here. And what we're trying to do this time, this space is for freelancers. I was myself a freelancer once, and I realized at a very early stage that it is a business and it has to be run like a business. And a business has the same requirements, the same demands, and the same needs as a large business, the same needs as a company with 1,000 employees and one employee. Certain things just get distributed differently, but the need for an organization for the organization is primary. Administration is primary. So why are we doing this? Because I think when we're working on our own, I think when you're running this business and well, you don't really have other partners other than the people, the other colleagues that you work with, and you're really on your own. We need help, and some people don't know that they need help. Some people don't have this concept of that they can get help. So if you if you like to know if you need help, you say, "Oh, my business is going well. I'm selling a lot. I have clients on an ongoing basis." It's okay. That means you're doing very well. But if things change, that's an indicator. So I'm going to point out a couple of indicators that could be like a red light telling you that you need help. So if your statistics are dropping, of if you're roller coasting per se, one day you're doing really well, another day you're exhausted at the end of the day. Some of the times you get tons of projects offered, and some of the times no one calls, the phone won't ring, no emails. Sometimes your stats are up and your stats are down. So it's pretty much a roller coasting. Up and down, and you don't keep a steady, line going up. So that's an indicator that if you're not controlling it, if it changes quite drastically and often, and things happen to you that are not the most favorable, the ideal for you, then most likely you need help, and that's the purpose of this live cast. So I'm very happy to have put this together because I think I have the experience, I have the willingness, and I really have the desire to see you succeed. We have created Alma Baca as a we're the central nucleus between the client, the producer, the content producer, and the translators. And we have found it's extremely important to keep our translators and work with our translators and freelancers as members of our team and keep them involved. So this is the time that I want to share, and where I want to share my experience, what I have shared. I want to share what I've done right, my successes, of course, but also failures, mistakes that we have made. That everything with the idea of helping you get to the point where you want to get. So we have already started a couple of weeks. We went through a couple of topics that where we described what was success, and we talked about targets and goals and your purpose. If you want to know about them, go to YouTube. You can hear about them. We have had some good feedback on them, and all I'm looking for, all we want in Colopaca is for you to get information that can help you either start looking in another direction or get better ideas or clear up some fuzziness in your head. So I have grown a lot by doing this, I have to tell you. Why? Because I get to hear what you think, and I encourage you to write and tell me what you think. Uh, what would you like? If you disagree, that helps me greatly, immensely. The tone that we want to keep on this is really friendly. If you totally, totally think that I'm out of my mind and whatever I'm saying is wrong, go ahead and say it. But, let's keep it friendly. Let's keep it in the spirit of encouraging everyone to join. And feel free to invite freelancers from other areas. They don't have to precisely work with us, but everyone is welcome. A freelancer in the world of a translation, audiovisual translation, a freelancer doing videos, editing, whatever you're doing as a freelancer, it is a company. And I think you might get some information here that will help you. So, as I said last week, we had a couple topics already that we have already broadcasted. So if you might want to come and visit and see it. So today we want to talk about ethics. Ethics is a topic that everyone talks about. It's something very positive. We feel proud to say we're ethical. We feel good when we hear a company that we work with or a company that is interested in offering us work is ethical. It inspires trust, correct? But to my surprise, a few years ago, when I started getting into, learning the ropes of running a business and, how to be a coach, how to help my team, how to organize better my company, I was very surprised, to learn the definition of ethics. So, one thing that I learned before I launch into anything is to make sure that I fully understand the words. That allows me to reason, to think, to get conclusions that make me feel certain. You will not believe the chaos, the anxiety that really anxiety that you can feel just because of a word that you don't clearly understand. It's incredible. And, we don't see it, but it's like the computer running all over the place, not arriving to anything concrete, but you need to come up with a decision and still look smart and still look like someone trustworthy. So, going back to the definition of the word ethics, I will share with you a couple from the dictionary.com that I picked up. Feel free to open dictionary.com and just check it out. It's a noun and it is used with a singular or plural verb, a system of moral principles. As an example, the ethics of a culture. It is also used with a plural verb, the rules of conduct recognized in respect to a particular class or human actions or a particular group, culture, etc. For instance, medical ethics, Christian ethics. Used with a plural verb, moral principles, as of an individual, his ethics forbade betrayal of a confidence. And if you see with this 1, 2, 3 that I given you out of 4, the definition of ethics, and if you look at it in other dictionaries, but I don't want to burden you with several of them, but you can go out and look them up. We're linguists, I'm sure you're going to do it. The definition of ethics is mostly oriented to moral conduct. And let me tell you, there is a big difference between morals and ethic. Moral conduct is pretty much a set of rules imposed by society or laid out by society to maintain order in a group. So there are moral rules where we have to follow and abide to keep order in our community, which makes a lot of sense. But ethics, ethics are something different. Ethics is something self-imposed. It's a code of conduct that the person dictates without further consequences. You're not going to have a lawsuit. You're not going to get an amount. I'm thinking in French, a ticket, like a police ticket, if you fail to, to fulfill that rules, that list of conduct that you decided. It's something self-imposed, and it's something that makes you feel good. An ethical person, like telling the truth, you know, you know, fulfilling your payment terms, doing, there's also there's moral, rules behind it. But that's being ethical. It's something that you self-impose and you abide by them, and you feel good or you feel bad. So ethics are values that you are going to, put for yourself, and they will allow you to continue and move on and towards that goal. Ethics are like the fundament. Is the bottom part. You have your goal, you have your organization, you have administration, which is really beautiful. When once you put and you bring ethics into game, you're injecting a whole new thing. It's going to look bright. It's going to look bigger. Excuse me. But the day you betray those ethics, then you have already, at that moment you have crossed that borderline, and I assure you, you know, you cross that borderline because that's what they do. They are a borderline. There's a barrier. It's like the frontier from one country to the other. And when you betray those your ethics, you cross that borderline, and you are going to be dwelling in foreign territory. Your business is your territory. It's your universe. You have goals. You have determined what you want. You have ideals. You have a dream. You have an ideal scenario, but you need to have ethics to hold it together. And those ethics have to be worked, and done. If you work with a group, everyone has to abide by those ethics. So if you betray those ethics, don't be surprised, or you're not abiding by them. I call it betray because that's what we're actually doing. Let's call things what they are. So don't be surprised that your business is not going to be reacting as well as you would wish. You can get as many, you can find all the justifications in the world, but you will see how your statistics are not going to be as steady climbing up as you would like to. You would find that you don't have the best clients. Sometimes you will see not very positive things happening to you. So at this moment, at this point, in with your ethics is, and you know something self-imposed. No one is going to tell you. For me, my ethics are laid out, and for me, my ethics is always doing what is going to help the greatest number of people involved, the greatest number of areas in my life. It's by ethics. I decide to buy what I need to buy, set up what I have to set up, and fulfill my commitments, because that unburdens my mind and allows me to do more productive things with my life. So there are certain ways to find out if you have betrayed your ethics, if you're not going straight, if you have crossed that borderline. And that's, I like to give you a couple of tips. If your business is not going so well, if you're not getting great customers, if your customers are failing you, it's time to go back and see, okay, how are my ethics? Am I spending more money than I'm making? That's attempting against your finances. Am I, fulfill my economic commitments? Am I paying on time? Just make sure, just go back. It's not with the intention to criticize. It's with intention to find. It's like when you're looking for your keys. You look for your keys because you need to get in that car or your car keys and start your car and go and head in the direction you need to go. Or the keys of your house, you need to lock it up. So you can do two things. You can go out and look for those keys, insulting yourself, calling yourself names or being forgetful, or just decide, okay, I need to find those kids, I need to get out, and what am I going to do not to lose them again? See, you're going to find them either way, but one is going to put you down, and the other one is going to allow you to grow, and that's ethics. So there, I'm going to give you a tip, two things that I think, 2 points that work for me, and to solve my ethics problems. When I have an ethics problems, because we all have ethics problems. Don't be scared. Promising something and not doing it is getting out of ethics. Not making the amount of money that you decide to say you need to make is getting out of ethics. Spending money on something that you don't need to when you're not making enough money is getting out of ethics. It's just a lot of things. Once you attempt against the well-being of your family, your well-being, your emotional, state of mind, when you're not paying someone, you're out of ethics. You're causing a lot of, grief or a lot of discomfort, a lot of anxiety to someone by not paying them. So, number one, to solve your ethics problems, or if write a list of what the ethics, what is ethics to you? What are you going to be ethical on? Let's put it that way. I'm going to pay my taxes. I'm going to pay my clients. I'm going to pay my credit cards on time. I'm not going to spend more money. I'm going to be more caring and loving with my family. I'm going to be more respectful in person. Just make the list as long as you want. And, aim at make sure that it also, takes care of your business, that your business grows. You will see in that list, and every time you write down, think, this item that I'm writing down here, who's going to get benefit? Oh, well, my children, my city, if I pay my taxes, my country. So, and number two, to solve the problem ethics, stop doing what you're doing, okay? That keeps you away from your own ethics. So, I think these 2 points are going to help you. So remember, if you are not doing as well as you want, if you are constantly running into issues, confrontations, betrayal, or problems, there's perhaps, and I'm almost certain, an issues problem. If you're doing very well, ethics problem. If you're doing very well, that's okay. If you want to do better, because you can always do better. I don't know anyone who has $5 and I tell them they can have 50,000, they will refuse and be happy with the $5. Some people would, and that's very respectable. But for those that are not happy, like me, well, this advice, these recommendations would be very good. So no matter how well organized you are, no matter how well you are working in your company, you still need to have those ethics. So take a look at them and remember there is a difference between ethics and moral code. Be ethical. I hope this information will be helpful to you, and I applaud your courage and I'm proud of you. Thank you for joining us tonight. I will see you next week with another topic. And again, I invite you to write down your comments and tell me what topics you would like me to talk to you. If you get discouraged, if you get angry, if you don't know how to handle, lies, if you don't know how to handle people paying you late, anything. So many things happen. But at the end of the day, when we know how to handle them, life turns out to be much more fun and more enjoyable. And that's what it's all about. Thank you again. I am your friend Alma Baca, and I hope to see you very, very soon.